Hey guys, today we're going to be making cheese. So the ingredients that we're going to need are whole milk, not heavily pasteurized, white vinegar, and some salt. So first, what we want to do is take about half a gallon of milk, which is 64 ounces or 8 cups. So we're just going to add this to the saucepan. And we're going to turn it on to a medium heat. Now while we wait for it to boil, we're just going to stir it with a wooden spoon to make sure that none of the milk still sticks to the bottom. Here's what the milk looks like in the pot. Then we're just going to wait for it to boil. So while we're waiting for that to boil, I'm actually going to get a 1/4 cup of white vinegar measured out. Let me rinse this out. So because of the fat content and the protein content, milk will actually burn if you just don't stir it in this process. So it's really important to make sure that you're stirring constantly while waiting for it to boil. So this is where we're at. The water content has kind of separated from the milk and it's formed a kind of froth over the top. And I think it's just about starting to boil. It's really hot though, and it smells like cheese, so that's a good sign. And then make sure it doesn't stick. And this whole process of getting it here has taken me about 15 minutes. So does that look like it's boiling? Yeah, it's boiling there around the edges. I'd say that's good enough. So we're gonna turn the heat down to low. Make sure to scrape that a little bit. Then we're gonna grab the distilled white vinegar we made earlier, and we're just gonna dump it in. And then keep stirring. So my recipe said that curds should start forming immediately, and oh, they are. Yep, so milk is an emulsion, which means that it's two liquids that shouldn't mix together, but do. And so the curds are the casein proteins that are found in milk, and the whey is the 20% of 5 different other proteins. Here we go. So the clear stuff is the whey, and the stuff floating on top is the curds. So I'm gonna pour this out into my cheesecloth and strainer that I have. Yep, that smells like cheese. Make sure to get all of the curd out of here. Some of it did stick to the pot. So this is what we have right now. Just kind of loose curd in the cheesecloth, and now I'm going to attempt to strain the rest of the whey out. So my recipe said to spray it with cold water first, because it's obviously, you can see the steam, too hot to touch right now. Yeah. So after spraying it down, this is what we have. Just some curd. It's very like fine. Still warm to touch, but I think I'm going to try to wring the rest of the whey in the water I just added out. So I'm just gonna pick up all the sides of the cheesecloth and just, oh, that's really hot. Apply light pressure. So whey is a byproduct of making cheese, but it can be used in some cooking. Okay, I think that's about as much liquid as I'm gonna get out of it right now, because I'm breaking the cheesecloth and I don't want to do that. So the recipe I'm using says that I need to leave it for 2 to 3 hours, and I can place something heavy over it to maybe help strain some more liquid out of it. So I'm gonna put it in the bottom of my sink here, kind of flatten it out with my hand if I can. And that's what it looks like in the bottom of my sink right now. I'm just like flattening it out a tiny bit. And I'm gonna put the pot that I used in cooking over it to just like be something heavy. That didn't work. Just to be something heavy. I think I'm gonna fill this with water so it's heavier. All right, ignore the dirty pan, but the cheese is currently underneath there, being squished of all remaining liquid, and I will be back to check it in 2 to 3 hours. So it's been about 2 hours, and this is what it looks like inside the cheesecloth. It's firmed up a lot, and most of the moisture is gone, but the cheesecloth still is kind of wet. So I'm just gonna open this up. And it is sticking to the cheesecloth a tiny bit, but not nearly as bad as I thought it would. Yeah, that's cheese. See what it tastes like. Very bland. I'm gonna add a little bit of salt. Yeah, that helped it a little bit. But yeah, that's just how you make a basic cheese farm to table.